Mate, Pat, welcome to the podcast. It is a pleasure to have you on, sir.
G'day, James. Good to be here.
Right. So guys, for everyone who doesn't know Pat is one of my favorite success stories ever, and you'll soon find out why. Pat's he's a husband, he's a father, he's a business owner. Pat runs an NDIS business where he's looking after those with disabilities, doing at-home care and community care. And Pat's just an all-around fucking awesome guy, if excuse my French. And so what I want to cover in this is I want to go and cover, Pat, your story. And I want, out of this interview, I'd love everyone who is turning 50 or turning 40 or at a stage in their life where they think, shit, I should be further ahead than what I am right now. And you want to be able to achieve more. And you want to be able to do more. And that's really what I want to cover in this. So dude, I want to start really first of all with you. Back, a few months ago before you joined us, what was life like for Pat Deegan?
Yeah. So, back in December, it was the lead up to Christmas. So I was like, geez, I'm 50 next year. And I had achieved a lot. I'd done a lot of really good things, but I'd also just become stuck and really focused on the things that hadn't gone well, and the things that I probably hadn't succeeded in. So, and just really got bogged down into that, and wasn't coping very well with it. So drinking too much. I'd started smoking again. Eating really shit food. And things just weren't going well, which was, in many ways, it was ridiculous because I had everything going for me. Got this great business, a great wife, fantastic kids. There was no reason for me to be in that headspace other than me choosing to, and really getting bogged down on the negatives. So
let's look at both the positive and the negative, if you're okay with that. So what were the things that you were getting bogged down on?
Well, the things I was getting bogged down on were, there was this thing that I did that didn't work out. And if I had done this, we would have been in a better financial position. And just really, really getting stuck in that headspace. And and then even beyond that, then just with the alcohol, the cigarettes, the not focusing on work, neglecting the family. There was just a whole lot of stuff going on, and it was quite interesting because I was thinking, I'm about to turn 50, and if this keeps up, I'm not going to make it to 60, and that was pretty depressing in itself. And there was this guy who then kept popping his head up on my Facebook feed with these videos. And I was like, I kept ignoring them, and I thought eventually I watched a couple and sent you a message, and and it all went from there.
So did this guy happen to be incredibly charming, good looking, and humble?
Well, some would say that, James. Some would say that. No, obviously it was you. You kept popping your head up, and I thought, who is this guy? And how's he ended up on my feed? So I sent you a message. You sent me over a video and so forth, which made a lot of sense. The hierarchy of health, I think it was. And and then I had a chat to Tim. And gave him every excuse in the book why I wasn't going to sign up. And he was able to bat all of those back at me.
Yeah, Tim's the master of no bullshit, right? He doesn't accept anything, any crap, and that's why one of the things I really value about him. One of the things I try to do as well is not accept any shit. I'm glad you brought that up. Why is it that, because you're in this position where you weren't happy with where you are, you've seen my stuff, and you're like, yep, this makes sense. Like, first of all, why was it that you actually wanted to do something about it? Why did you want to have a chat? Why did you want to talk with me? Why did you even want to entertain getting better?
Well, I wasn't happy, basically. Wasn't happy with where I was, but also knew that wasn't logical because, I had so many positives in my life. And couldn't make the connection as to why I wasn't enjoying life, why I was choosing the alcohol, the smokes, the junk food, and all that sort of stuff when there were so many positives going on. And knowing that and being able to implement it was the challenge. And I think in one of those videos you talked about the summit and having the Sherpa to sort of get you there, and I thought that's probably what I need, someone in my court to push me along.
But so it wasn't all smooth sailing, because you said, like, you saw this stuff, like, you've seen the videos, the hierarchy of the summit, it all makes sense. And then you get to Tim, and when it comes to that, that big leap of faith when you decide, should I join a program? Should I not join a program? It's like that big, it's like you're going to jump off a cliff. Why was it that, as you said before, you made every excuse in the book to not do it? First of all, why was it that you were making the excuses to not go ahead and to not get a hand and not get a Sherpa?
Because I think you also become comfortable. Even though I wasn't happy, I guess I was comfortable where I was as well. And we all know change isn't easy. And I knew, Jesus, I'm going to have to give up some of this stuff. That was some of it, but also also I knew it needed to happen. And I guess Tim convinced me no time like the present. It was like 10 days before Christmas. I thought, what a stupid time to be doing this. But it ended up being perfect time.
And so, like, when you coming back to, like, the drinking, the smoking, like, what were all the reasons for you to keep drinking, keep smoking? Like, what was that getting you at that stage in your life?
I guess it was almost like it feels good, do it kind of mentality. Just as simple as that. And didn't have to, I guess, do some of the work that I needed to do. That when I started working with Harry, that he got me to really focus on, which was it was bloody hard, but it was worth it as well.
What was hard about it? And what was it like when you say you were doing some work with Harry? Like, what was the work, and what was hard about it?
Well, first it was making, I guess, talking to a lot of these questions that you're asking me now. The why are you drinking? Do you want to stop completely? What's the plan? What's the plan with the smoking? But also, the thing with Harry is he's got a solution for every problem and a difficult question for every excuse, sort of thing. He would ask me really hard questions. I remember one of the mini podcasts he sent me on, I think it was extreme ownership. I was telling him about this problem, and he sent me that video, and I really got my back up about that one. I was like, but you don't know what's happened to me. You don't know all these things that have happened, and you're telling me to take ownership for this stuff. So but yeah, it was really important, and it was just the right bit of information at the right time, and yeah, really made a massive difference. There's that person to guide me, and even he knew when not to answer questions as well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there'd be times I'd send a message and it'd take him a day and a half to respond. I thought, you bastard, you're doing that on purpose because you know I can figure this out on my own.
It's highly probable with Harry, yes, that he was doing that.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal coach, isn't he? He's possibly one of the best coaches that I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, no, he's brilliant. Like, yeah, I'm sure if I said I had an ingrown toenail, I'd get a video on why having an ingrown toenail is my responsibility, and something else on how to avoid it in the future. Like, yeah, it's just, yeah, it doesn't matter what the issue is, he'll have an answer for it.
So why look, Pat, you're a successful guy. You've done a heap of cool stuff, and you know you as you turned the big 5-0 this year. You know, it's why did you choose to take advice from another man as opposed to just continuing going and doing it your own way, and you know, doing the I'll fix it myself type bullshit that a lot of the time we convince ourselves of?
Well, that wasn't working, basically. And yeah, I knew if I was going to change, just the headspace I was in, I wasn't able to do it on my own. And yeah, just to have somebody to kick me up the ass when I needed it, which I definitely did. And yeah, and I guess, yeah, looking back, I don't think I could have done it on my own, because with some of the stuff that happened along the way, it went against my every instinct, and I had to, in some ways, just suspend my beliefs and go with it.
Can you give us some examples of those things that went against your instincts?
Oh, well, even just initially, some of the simple things to start with, like giving up gluten and dairy. Like, even just that, it's like, I used to joke about people who didn't have dairy or gluten and so forth. But within a couple of days, like, I'd been on indigestion medication for 5 years. In a couple of days, I didn't need that anymore. It was like, oh shit. Yeah, just drinking the water, the amount of water along the way. Yeah, the breathing, like the different breathing and techniques. I'm like, what a load of crap, but I'll give it a try, and it helped. So, yeah, so that's one thing I just had to go, okay, sounds like a bit crazy to me, but I'll give it a go, and yeah, if it works, it works. So yeah, even other stuff along the way, like I went to the Uncommon weekend, like the first couple of videos I watched on that, I thought, this looks a bit weird. It looks a bit weird to me. I won't be going down that path. And then Harry had to talk to me about it. He said, you know what, I think it would help. So I thought, okay, give it a go. Yeah, and really forcing myself to go outside my comfort zone continuously.
What was the effect of you getting outside your comfort zone?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have gotten to the spot that I am now if I didn't. Like, yeah, just giving it a go, trying new things. like the breath work at the Uncommon, like that was just that was a game changer. There was so many game changers along the way. What was that? That was like 6 or 7 weeks in the Uncommon. I remember you saying to me there that you've come so far already, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. And I'm like, well, how could that be possible? Like I can't go much further where I am, and what's that? 7, 8 weeks ago, and it's like I'm light years ahead of where I was then, and I sort of think, where will I be in another 6 to 8 weeks? It's pretty massive what's happened along the way. But that stuff at Uncommon, which really helped me solidify a lot of the issues, and then the conversations I had with Harry the week after that, like, just really sorted a lot of stuff out. And that conversation with Harry that following week, that was covered some pretty big stuff there that we wouldn't have been able to cover if I didn't go to that weekend.
Definitely. And by the way, for everyone who's listening, the Uncommon, what Pat's referring to is a weekend where we get a bunch of cool, eccentric, weird guys such as myself and Pat in the room. There's normally between 50 and 70 of us, and we do a heap of stuff which tests your limits and elicits change. I'll just say elicits change. Hey, Pat, like that's probably a good way of putting it. It's a really, really cool weekend for huge breakthroughs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so back with you, Pat, you've had some big milestones, like drinking, for example. How's your drinking changed to when you first started with us?
Yeah, so I was drinking every day. Drinking a lot too much, way too much, probably, if I'm going to be completely honest, over 80 beers a week. That's still a bit hard to come to terms with. So I was drinking that much, and now I'm probably drinking 8 beers a week. And I didn't think I'd be able to get to a point where I was just managing it. Have a couple of beers on a Friday and Saturday night, which I thought would have been impossible. I thought it would have had to have been all or nothing. But once you start sorting out some of that other stuff, you can make it. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Why were you drinking 80 beers a week?
Well, a lot of it was habit. There was definitely a habit. Was also about not having to deal with the stuff that I needed to. Much easier just to, as they say, numb the pain, self-medicating, all that sort of stuff.
And so since you've come off and you've stopped self-medicating, numbing the pain, have you been able to deal with that stuff that you needed to deal with, or has it been confronting? Like, what's the effect of that been?
Yeah, that's been interesting. Like, look, I have been able to deal with it, but I'd have to say that first 3 months where I cut the drinking right down. I've given up smoking. Cut a lot of the junk food and so forth. Started running, which is bizarre. The water. Just using all the switching from destructive coping mechanisms to positive ones has just made a massive difference. But that 3 months was probably one of the hardest 3 months in my life as well, in terms of how difficult that was. And but knowing how difficult it was and knowing how good I feel now compared to how I felt 3 months earlier, knowing how hard it was, if I knew that at the beginning, I still would have done it. Like, even though, some days were bloody hard.
I bet. And so, well, let's look at how you feel now. Business-wise, has anything changed in the way that you work or the way that you do business since you started working with us?
Well, I'm actually focused on the business, which is really good. I mean, to be honest, while all of that was happening, if my wife hadn't have been there running the show and being understanding of my situation, a lot more understanding than I would have been, the business wouldn't be there. So that's the first bit. But I'm back in the business now full time. I've gotten rid of a lot of other things I was doing outside of the business that were taking my attention. Gotten rid of all of this negative stuff, and able to really. I guess the main thing I've been able to do is take the pressure off my wife, so that she can enjoy life a bit as well.
What effect has that had on your relationship?
Oh, massive. I think we actually like each other now, which is good. Which makes a big difference. But overall, like, my mind is just so much clearer. I'm just feel relaxed all the time, like, which is just bizarre. Little things that would have stressed me before don't bother me. But probably one of the biggest changes is just my whole decision-making process is completely different. Whereas it would take me days sometimes to make decisions on things. Now there's just 2 measurements to make any decision. Is it getting me closer to my goals, and what's the return on investment of my time? Like, and if it doesn't measure up to either of those things, don't do it. So,
what effect has having that decision-making process had on you, on your happiness, on your ability to make money, all of it?
Oh, well, massive. Just because of that thinking, I've cut 15 to 20 hours worth of stuff out of my week that wasn't contributing to my family, to the business, no return on investment, and it just made a massive difference.
Congratulations, that's huge.
It made a massive difference.
And so now it's really been, like, you've been working with this for really coming up to 4 months, right? Three and a bit, 4 months now. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be in the next week, month, 2 months, 6 months, year?
I've started looking at that in terms of setting my goals, and Harry and I have worked through that, because that was one thing I was worried about. I had this deadline of turning 50 and the things I wanted to achieve by then, and started mapping out beyond there in terms of taking the business to the next level. Looking at my health. Like, I've lost a fair bit of weight so far. In the 3 months, I've lost 17 kilos, which I didn't think it'd be possible, and probably got about another 10 or so to go. As I said, I've started running, so really wanting to improve my time on that. Looking at where we want to live. Is this the house we want to live in? Is this the town we want to live in? So just really reassessing all of those things. yeah, as I said, I've given up smoking, given up coffee, still got, no, given up smoking, given up drinking mostly. Yeah, still got a few other things to do with the coffee and so forth because, yeah, I just know the difference removing those first lot of stimulants has made. Yeah, just keep going down that path. But yeah, I'd have to say probably the biggest game changer over the period of time was that conversation I had with Harry after Uncommon, where it really did bring all that stuff to the surface. And yeah, the thing Harry was able to do, and it's even hard to talk about now, it was to actually get myself to forgive myself for the stuff I'd been beating myself up about. So, and that was probably the real game changer for me. And it probably is what had me stuck back there at the beginning, back in December, where I was so focused on the things that didn't go to plan instead of the hundreds of things that did. Yeah, just to have Harry be able to guide me through that conversation and that process with myself, that was absolutely massive. And that is, yeah, that point is what really got me to where I am today, and it's going to get me to the next steps along the way as well.
And the thing that I really enjoy about your journey is that not only have you made massive progress in a ridiculously short space of time, I mean, you've lost 17 kilos in really, 14, 15 weeks type thing. That's insane in itself. You've gone to 80, from 80 beers to 8. You got rid of the smoking, you got rid of all that crap. You're off the indigestion medication. But at the same time, and that's not even talking about the business stuff, the relationship stuff, all that sort of stuff. But the thing that I really appreciate about you is that you're not just doing it for you, you're also bringing up other people up the summit with you as well. In that you're getting your kids involved, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
No.
Or your friends? Your friends involved with coming into Uncommon and Abundant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did have that conversation, but
yeah.
No,
That's fair enough. One of the greatest things that I learned about, like, when you start making progress, it's all well and good for you to be making your own progress, but then when you start bringing others up, or at least trying to bring others up, that's the coolest part of all. And so really, like, moving on from that, you've been in this program now for a while. You know how it works. You've worked with us. You get us. Who do you think would be suited to getting help from us? Who do you think should be reaching out and actually doing exactly what you're doing?
Well, I guess the people I've met that are in the program, like, there's a whole, like, such a broad range of people, yeah, with very different stories. But I guess for the people like me are the people who just feel stuck, I think, who want to make change, can see that where they are now isn't where they want to be. And yeah, and yeah, people who are just stuck, not happy with their current situation, really want to change but aren't quite sure how. And I guess in that first video you talk about being in the spa, like that's exactly where I was. Like, I was happy in my unhappiness, I guess. It was quite comfortable there, and I guess that was a conversation I had with Harry a couple of times along the way. it was much easier. It was much easier before I started this. Um, that's what I said a number of times along the way. But I tell you what, it's a lot easier now than when it was at the beginning. Now I'm at the other end. So yeah, the people who just feel stuck, who don't know how to drag themselves to that first point to make that change. Yeah, you won't regret it. It just make a massive difference.
What would you say to someone who's in the spa? Someone who's in the spa and they're, they could be drinking, smoking, or as you put it, they're happy in their unhappiness. It's like, life's not good, but you're comfortable there. What would you say to somebody who's in that situation?
Do it. It's totally worth it. It'll probably be one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but yeah, when you get to the other end, the rewards are just massive. And thinking how far I've come and how good life is now, I'm looking forward to what life will be like in the next 3 months. And can't even comprehend what it'll be like.
Very cool. Pat, thank you very much for your time, sir. I've really enjoyed having you on here.
Yeah, no, brilliant. It's been great. So glad that you asked me.
It's a pleasure. We'll speak soon, man.
Okay, no worries.